In terms of what could have been done better, well, everything could have been done better. Everything. There's nothing that could have been done worse. It's really remarkable. There was a lot of planning took place before the war, but for some reason that planning wasn't followed. It was all thrown away as soon as they arrived in Baghdad. That's been very well documented now. Everyone talks about it. Colin Powell in his book, and many other people talk about it, how the planning that was done before the war wasn't followed afterwards. It's a mystery. I don't really know why that happened, but in any event, the fact that that did happen was a terrible idea. The idea of dissolving every single army unit at the time was a terrible idea, particularly because the United States military wasn't willing to police the state, right? Wasn't willing to police the country. So if you're not willing to police and you dissolve all the police and all the army, then of course what do you expect is going to happen? Obviously lawlessness. I mean, it's not, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. The fact that the interim constitution was drafted behind closed doors by American officials without the involvement of Iraqis was a terrible idea. The fact of dissolving the Constitutional Drafting Committee and replacing it with an unrepresentative group of people was also terrible. Everything was done in this very erratic and unreasonable way. And I can't see how it could have been done worse. Corruption was also very bad. Not just, when I mentioned corruption earlier, I focused on Iraqi corruption because that's what we're dealing with now. But during the occupation, it was terrible as well. There was a huge amount of corruption by American officials, And I attribute that to the fact that there was no real ideology for the war in Iraq. I don't really, I'm sure many people are still scratching their heads in the United States trying to figure out why the war actually took place. It's not like the Marshall Plan where people had a real idea of what it was that people were struggling against, communism and so on and so forth. In Iraq, Al-Qaeda wasn't an issue. Weapons of mass destruction were clearly not an issue either. So what was the war really about? No one really knew. There was a lot of money flowing around. All of it was in cash. There was no oversight, no Iraqi oversight, no U.S. oversight, no international oversight. The incentives for stealing money were just extremely, extremely high. So everything could have been done better. There's really no limitation on it.